Hi, and welcome back to another video. And today, I will once again be talking about the New York governor race, where about a month ago or two was the last time I really talked about this race, and that was when I talked about that Governor Kathy Hochul in 2026 could possibly face a primary challenge. And now, as of yesterday, we are starting to see that that is becoming more likely, where her own lieutenant governor announced that he is going to be running in the Democratic primary against Kathy Hochul. Now, this is a big name considering this lieutenant governor was chosen by Hochul to be her running mate in 2022 when they ran against Lee Zeldin and won by 5 to 6 points here. I believe it was 6 points here. I could always check. But yeah, he's been lieutenant governor after a while. His predecessor was forced to resign after being caught in illegal things, and then he was in place by 2022. So yeah, Hochul won by 6.4 points here against Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin lost, and now Lee Zeldin is in the Trump administration or the Trump cabinet. So now Hochul, I mean, Republicans are still have to find a candidate here. I don't believe any Republican has announced in the Republican primary. There's been a lot of okay. We have one. It's declared Carl Hyde Jr., who is a town supervisor, but none of the really big names. There's a lot of people who've expressed interest, especially big names like Elise Stefanik or Mike Lawler. Those are the people we have to watch out for. Um, and so it's going to be very interesting. So we only have so far this race is a likely D, which I don't know if I'd place it there, considering that Hochul is one of the few vulnerable Democrats coming up in this 2026 election cycle, along with Katie Hobbs and some others. But yeah, I wouldn't put this as a likely D state, although Kathy Hochul has a lot to look forward here, as this is a midterm year in a Trump midterm, administration year here, where Trump is president in the White House. That is something where she definitely has the advantage on. A lot of people thought she would have lost in 2022 because she was only governor because her predecessor, Andrew Cuomo, was forced to resign due to, sexual abuse charges, and stuff like that. So, but she was able to win by 6 points, and I predict she's probably going to win again, and she's probably going to, expand her lead margin. And her winning by 6 points and costing the House to the Republicans in 2022 was something that, yeah, was is that like Democrats like to use against her a lot, and it's something we've seen for a while now, and it's why there's such an argument and why there is this primary challenge happening with Hochul. And some are making the argument that, after Biden, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't repeat history here. Hochul could be a liability. She could drag candidates down like she did before in 2022, and maybe in 2026 we don't want to see that happen again. So that's why there is this primary challenge. But so far, we only have, I believe, when it comes to the Democratic primary, we only have Hochul and her lieutenant governor in this race. Yep. You have Anthony Delgado, lieutenant governor, and Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, which is really a weird thing to see in the declared. And it also does beg the question, who is going to be Kathy Hochul's new running mate? There was Delgado announced back in February of 2025 that he was not going to be running with Hochul again. So this campaign announcement makes a lot of sense. However, we do have some decline, right? Letitia James said she's not going to run. She tried to run in 2022, but she did not get far. Tom Suozzi has also announced he will not be running. He is a very popular House Democrat, who was both the predecessor of George Santos and also his successor, as George Santos was forced to leave. But yeah, he's a very popular House Democrat. We have some endorsements for Hakeem Jeffries, Pat Ryan, Tom Suozzi, and Carl Heastie, also not surprising at all, and the Democratic Governor Association from Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul is a very popular governor. So we maybe have some hypothetical. Oh, here we go. We have some hypothetical polling here, which I expect. Yeah, there really isn't much of this, but it's what we got. So in February of 2025, you had Kathy Hochul, leading in this primary here. And so far for this primary, we have Delgado. Now, remember, Delgado just announced yesterday, and Torres isn't even in this race yet. He's just a considered candidate here. But Governor Hochul announced he was going to run a long time ago for re-election. Back in February 2025, this is when, Delgado said he wasn't going to be running with Hochul as her running mate. Hochul had this lead of 52%. Then we get into March, she has a 46% lead with 28% undecided. Then Hochul's lead shots up to 51%, with the undecided basically remaining the same. Hochul's at 44%, with the undecided then climbing to 30%, with, the other candidates not really moving much. Then Hochul's at 24%, with the undecided is at 55% in April of 2025 here. So really, I wouldn't say that's surprising, as we've also seen with the Virginia governor race, where back in September of 2023, when nobody would be thinking about the race, where the undecided was leading both Spanberger and Sears as candidates. Because in 2023, nobody was thinking about the Virginia governor race that would be happening in 2025. So we are in 2025, and right, this governor election is going to be taking place in 2026. So seeing the undecided here being at such a high, being at such a high number here, much more than Hochul or Delgado or any of these candidates here, I'm not surprised at all. And I think we are going to continue seeing the undecided be this high until we get into 2026 and we start seeing the other candidates here. But we also have this new poll that was released in May of 2025. About almost a month ago now, where Kathy Hochul was at 46%, Delgado was at 12%, Torres 10%, and the undecided at 28%. So I am very excited to when we get a new, poll for this Democratic primary, now that Hochul and Delgado are like confirmed candidates. Hochul has been one now for a while, but Delgado now confirming his candidacy just yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if his polling numbers go up, or if the undecided goes back down. We will see. It's going to be very interesting. But I want to see if there's any Republican. I don't think there's any polling. There's no polling. But yeah. Yeah, so there's still a lot more Republicans to announce, right? We're still very, very early to this race. It is only June 2025, and mainly what I'm going to be focusing on is just, who on the Democratic side is running, right? We have Hochul and we have Delgado. And I'm sure there's going to be more. There's going to be so much more, as, Hochul really is kind of this resistant governor against the Trump administration for a while now. However, she does have big names backing her, like Hakeem Jeffries and the entire Democratic Governor Association, and that helps her. But it might not be enough. And if Delgado proves to be like a threat in the polling or something like that, we could see Hochul become very more aggressive, much more aggressive. And it's going to be interesting to see how Delgado really, runs his campaign, how he phrases Hochul's leadership, especially since he's been tied to her for over 3 years now. And it's going to be very interesting to watch, and I can't wait. But anyways, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.